Hello, welcome to the Diversity Programs Information Session. My name is Tina J. Bosenpam, and I am the Senior Program Coordinator for the Office of Diversity, Education, and Research. I'm joined here by Renako Goldstone, Program Coordinator for the office.
Hello.
Thank you all for joining us.
If you have any questions after our webinar today, please email us at diversityprograms@downstate.edu. You can find additional information on our website as well. This webinar will be posted on the website next week for anyone who wishes to review the material again.
At the end of the session, questions on the programs will be taken. To do this, we will be using Slido, a service that allows everyone to ask questions anonymously if you choose. At this moment, using your phones, tablets, computers, desktops, whatever you have, go to slido.com and type in the event code Diversity19. You should see Event Diversity Programs Information Session. Go ahead and enter that event. If you have any questions at any time during the session, you can enter them here. The great thing about Slido is that if you see a question that you also thought about asking, instead of asking it again, you can like it and it will upvote the question. Questions with the most upvotes will be answered first. At the end of the session, we will do a check and make sure everything is working with Slido. So the purpose of the webinar is to provide you with information on our programs that we offer here during the summer. All of our programs are designed to enhance your academic profile so that you will be stronger candidates in your pursuit of a career in the health field. During the session, you will learn the eligibility requirements for the programs and get application deadlines. You will also learn a little bit about Downstate and its 5 colleges. And of course, you'll get answers to your most pressing questions.
Today we will be sharing details regarding 2 of our programs which are funded by the HRSA Health Careers Opportunity Program, otherwise known as HCOP. They are Exploring Health Careers, or EHC, and Early Medical Education, or Emmy. At present, our office has formal agreements with specific colleges and universities. They include colleges within the City University of New York system and colleges in the State University of New York system, or Suny. Only students who attend our partnering schools can apply to the 2 programs we are discussing today. We will start off with a brief overview of Suny Downstate Health Sciences University and why it is so special.
SUNY Downstate consists of 5 colleges: the College of Medicine, the School of Graduate Studies, the College of Nursing, the School of Health Professions, and the School of Public Health. Each college offers degrees in numerous areas of study. Downstate also offers a joint MD and PhD degree and a joint MD and PhD degree as well.
Downstate provides high-quality educational, research, and patient care programs. It is the only academic medical center in Brooklyn, and it serves a large and diverse population. More New York City physicians have trained at Downstate than at any other medical center. 99% of the medical graduates from the College of Medicine who applied for residency successfully matched. Downstate also offers dynamic, efficient, and relevant programs in its School of Public Health, School of Health Professions, and College of Nursing. Exploring Health Careers is the first of our undergraduate pipeline programs designed to expose and prepare students for health professions, study, and careers. In order to apply to EHC, students must satisfy the following criteria. Students must be undergraduates. They must be U.S. citizens or permanent residents, educationally or financially disadvantaged. You must be currently enrolled in one of our partner colleges as freshmen, sophomores, or juniors. You must have completed at least one semester that included science or math coursework. And last, you must have at least a 2.5 GPA. So what is Exploring Health Careers? Exploring Health Careers, or EHC for short, is a 6-week summer program designed to expose students to a variety of career options in health professions. EHC includes faculty presentations, shadowing opportunities in a range of specialties within clinics and affiliate sites, as well as information about how to prepare for admissions application processes. Program participants are expected to attend for the duration of the 6 weeks by attending all lectures and shadowing appointments, as well as completing relevant assignments. At the end of the program, you will gain a new community. In order to apply, you must complete the online application in full. It has several components, so it will require you to be dedicated and thorough. A complete application includes one letter of recommendation from a professor in a math or science course you've taken. Additionally, it will include official undergraduate transcripts from all colleges or universities you attended. Most institutions allow for passcode protected e-transcripts to be sent. If not, sealed official transcripts sent from your school's registrar's office is also acceptable. Keep in mind that because postal mail is slower than electronic mail, we recommend that you request and send your transcripts early on in the application window. The deadline for all applications is on Monday, March 2nd, 2020.
We will now discuss the Early Medical Education Program, or Emmy for short. Those interested in Emmy must first of all be U.S. citizens or permanent residents. They must come from an educationally or financially disadvantaged background and attend one of our 4-year partnering institutions. Students who meet that criteria must also be either a rising or current senior. So you must be set to graduate no later than spring of 2021 and no earlier than fall 2019. Those who have already graduated are not eligible to apply. Students who are interested in Emmy must have completed their Mcat suggested courses before the start of the summer session. That includes 2 semesters of general biology, general chemistry, general physics, and organic chemistry. They must also complete coursework in biochem, psychology, and sociology. You must also meet the GPA requirements, a 3.2 in science and a 3.5 in your non-science GPA. So the Early Medical Education Program is an initiative to increase the competitiveness of pre-medical students by providing exam preparation and academic support. During your summer here, you will learn time and stress management skills and have an opportunity to shadow clinicians in different specialties. Emmy consists of 2 summers, each 6 weeks long. It's from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Students will receive a $1,500 stipend each summer. If you are able to successfully complete Emmy, you will be granted conditional acceptance to Suny Downstate's College of Medicine. So what does it mean to successfully complete Emmy? Well, in order to complete Emmy successfully, you must graduate within a year of acceptance to the program. So for those who will be entering this summer, you must graduate by spring 2021. You must also maintain your science and non-science GPAs. You cannot withdraw or have incompletes on your academic record. If for any reason you need to withdraw from a course, you must obtain permission from the Emmy coordinator and your pre-med advisor. You must also sit for the Mcat and meet the required score. The score is set each year by the College of Medicine standards. You must also attend both summer sessions of Emmy. The first summer in Emmy is an intense Mcat bootcamp. The second summer in Emmy is known as Operation Success. It is a pre-matriculation program that gets you prepared for your first year in medical school. Applications for Emmy are due on February 21st. The application consists of an essay and requires you to have 2 letters of recommendation, one of which must be from a math or science professor. The other one can be from another professor or an academic advisor, including your pre-health or C-STEP advisors. You will also need an assessment by your pre-health advisor, which means you will have to schedule a meeting with them so that they will be able to provide that for you. I cannot stress to you how important it is for you to meet with your pre-health advisor, and not just because of the assessment. Your pre-health office is your lifeline to all the programs run through this office. They know our programs very well and are always our first line of contact. The advisors also sit on the Emmy decision committee when choosing which students to accept to the program. For all of you students who are not yet eligible to apply to Emmy, this is your time to meet with your advisor and get a head start on what you need to do to be the best candidate. Those of you who have made it through the initial screening process will be invited to interview at Downstate. This interview counts as your medical school interview, and once you have been accepted into the program, you will not need to interview again for acceptance into the College of Medicine.
So when can you apply? Our applications will be available on our website beginning in mid-November. The webinar will be posted on our website in the coming weeks in case you missed anything. At this time, we will now be taking questions through Slido.
Okay, so now that we have gone through the webinar, we are going to take this time to go ahead and go to slido.com and make sure that everyone is signed up, that they have entered the event. So go ahead and go to Slido, type in diversity 19 and enter the event. Once you enter, there's going to be a little poll there. I'm going to have you guys go ahead and do that poll just so I can make sure that people are signed into the event. Okay?
Looks like mostly upperclassmen so far.
Give you guys a few more seconds. Okay, got some freshmen coming in.
Very good.
Okay, so it looks like we have mostly juniors that are signed into this webinar right now, so that's really good. Now I'm going to shoot off another poll. Please go ahead and answer that poll once you see it.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of interest in Emmy, a lot of interest in both programs, which is really good. Especially if you are an underclassman, it is really good to maybe start off with something like EHC and work your way up towards Emmy, because EHC is something that is also going to prepare you for the medical field if that's something that you do end up being interested in. So now we're going to take this time to allow you guys to get some of your questions together and start to type them in. And then in about a minute or two, we will go ahead through the questions and start answering them for you. If you see questions that you like, please upvote them. Those questions will be answered first, the ones with the most upvotes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into these questions right now. Okay, this seems to be the top question.
Okay. So the first question is, I want to start medical school in fall 2021. Want to get into the Emmy program next summer, but you're not, which if I'm not mistaken is a 4-week program. Is the Mcat required?
So the Mcat is required, as was said in the webinar. You want to start in fall 2021. So if you are in Emmy for this year, you would be starting medical school in fall 2021, which is the following year. So anyone who enters into Emmy now, they'll spend their summer in Emmy, and they will then take the Mcat right after the first summer session is over, and then they will go into medical school the following year after Operation Success. How do you define financially disadvantaged?
So financially disadvantaged is typically a federal use term. There may be students who may receive public assistance or other forms of aid. And so that's one of the ways in which you can determine financial disadvantage, but it's not the only one. So we would recommend folks to just apply. And based on the materials that you submit, we're able to determine that.
It is based on a case-by-case basis. So as Mr. Goldstone had mentioned before, once you have applied, we will be able to look through your application and determine whether you would fit the definition of financially disadvantaged, but it is different for people. So just go ahead and apply, and that would let you know if you are in that category.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the dates of the program? Now, today we're talking about two programs, our Exploring Health Careers program as well as early medical education. And so for exploring health careers, it's a 6-week program during the summer that's expected to begin in June through July.
And for the early medical education program, that is also a 6-week program that begins mid-June and continues up until mid-July. And then for the rest of the summer, you would be pretty much studying for Mcat, so you can take it by the end of the summer, probably around the time where you're either right before you go back to school or right as you've entered back into your next semester.
Okay. Okay. As a senior set to graduate in spring 2020, can I apply? I presume they're referring to Emmy once
Correct.
more.
Now, for everyone out there, when you are asking us questions about the programs, please can you specify the program that you were asking about so that we know how to best answer you. So, assuming that you are speaking of the Emmy program, if you are set to graduate in spring of 2020, then yes, you are eligible to apply. Can you apply if you are currently doing a post-bac? No.
Yes. When should I take the MCAT? Again, I think this is an Emmy question.
Yes. So MCAT should be taken after the first summer session, after you've gotten the prep material and after you've been prepped to take the MCAT. Then you'll be given the dates as to when you can take the MCAT. Does the EHC program cover physical therapy?
Yes, so EHC is a program that provides all of its participants with a variety of exposure to various professions, including physical therapy, occupational therapy, etc. So if this is something that is of interest to you, then EHC is the program that I think would benefit you.
Are people who are not extremely financially disadvantaged eligible to apply? Yes. The criteria is financial disadvantage or educationally disadvantaged. So you might fall into one of those two categories, and if so, you would be eligible to apply to Emmy. If you are not sure whether you fall into those categories, I would definitely say go speak to your pre-med advisor because they know the programs very well and they will be able to steer you in the right direction, but we would not be able to tell whether you fit that category, either category, until we see your entire application.
Okay, I see another question here. What would you advise students who don't meet GPA criteria, almost 3.2 overall, for Emmy?
So the Emmy program looks at the science GPA and looks at the non-science GPA separately. So with this, you're saying overall you might be at a 3.2, depending on what grade level that you are at. I would say maybe if you worked another semester or so. Obviously, if you're a senior, that might not be possible. But if you're a sophomore, working towards being in the Emmy program, working to get your GPA up would be ideal for you. At the same time, we do not just look at GPA, we do look at
Correct.
students holistically, meaning that we take into account all factors of a student's academic career. So I would say that if you are at least close to the GPA requirements for science separately and non-science separately, you can go ahead and apply as long as your story can give us, the application can give us a story behind how you got to where you are academically. You would still have a chance, so go ahead and apply.
Okay. If you don't have all the prerequisites for Emmy, is there still a chance for you to get accepted?
So the prereqs for Emmy happen to be GPA requirements and having taken all of the suggested Mcat courses. If you do not have the GPA requirements I mentioned earlier, we do look at students holistically. So depending on where your GPA is, there is a chance that you can get accepted. When it comes to the pre-med courses that you would want to take for your MCAT, I would highly suggest that you make sure you have those or can demonstrate that you will be taking them by the time summer session starts, because you will be taking MCATs at the end of the summer, and it's very difficult and unfair for us to ask you to sit for an MCAT in which you are not prepared for. And the summer sessions aren't meant to teach you these subjects. They're just meant to strengthen your knowledge in the subjects and be able to apply it to the MCAT. So students who do have all those prerequisites are probably going to be looked at first, and then students who don't, depending on their situation, their circumstances, what kind of classes they have been in and not in, that would determine whether or not you'd have a chance of still being accepted into the Emmy program.
Okay. Another question is, if I received a withdrawal in a class prior to applying to the Emmy program, am I ineligible for the program?
No, you're not ineligible if you receive a withdrawal, but I will tell you that that is something that you will be asked in any medical school interview. They do want to know why you have withdrawn from certain classes, especially if it's a science course or a math course, something that
Correct.
is going to reflect on your science GPA. And even if it's not a math or science course, they might still want to know why you withdraw and your story around that. So you might have a good story to tell around that. Just make sure you have that. What kind of experiences make an applicant strong?
So I think this is probably a more general question for both programs. Some of the experiences that would make an applicant strong are ones, at least for Emmy, I would say some of the ones that would make you a good candidate for medical school. So whether or not you've had prior research exposure or experience, a strong academic background, particularly in the sciences. Outside of the experiences, I'm also thinking about the quality of your recommendations, particularly from a pre-health advisor. Those are some of the experiences and characteristics that I think would make an applicant strong. Do you have other things you'd add?
So for the Emmy program, for sure, we want to see students who are dedicated, who have a passion for being in the medical field. We want to see that passion shown in whatever experiences they have had during their academic career, what kind of clinical experiences they have had, research experience, as was mentioned before. The letters of recommendations for sure are something that we look at and want to see that the teachers and professors and advisors in your life have seen this strength in you and they're able to speak on it on your behalf. So those are some of the things that I think would make for a strong applicant for the Emmy program. And for EHC?
And for EHC, it is very important that there is a compelling reason for wanting to pursue health profession. And there has to be some sort of intellectual curiosity there. That is extremely important. And the desire to fully participate in a cohort-based learning environment. Those are some of the kinds of experiences that I think would make an applicant strong.
And I think one of the interesting things about EHC is that even if you don't necessarily think you fit into the medical field, as long as you have a desire to at least find that out, EHC would be a program for you so that you can explore what you can do in the health field and see if any of those fit you, so you can start on the path to being a student that would maybe make it into the Emmy program or become a PA or a physician assistant or
Correct.
anything like that?
Correct. It's vital because there are many careers within the health professions, and so the extent to which a student is willing to explore that for themselves is very important.
How many students enter Emmy every year? So Emmy at this moment takes 25 students.
Okay. If a senior takes additional classes to meet the GPA requirement, would their previous grades count against them?
We do take into account grades that were classes that were taken before. We do look at them, but the grades of the new classes are usually what is used to calculate the GPA. So that would override any other grade that you had before, but we would see that what grades you did have in the other classes and see where you ended up afterwards, which is not a bad thing. A lot of students do that.
Okay.
I am a transfer student and a junior on my transcript, but I will complete the science requirements as a super senior. Will I still qualify?
Okay. So again, I'm not really clear on which program we're referring to, but
I'm going to assume that this is
Is for
for
Emme.
Emmy. Right. So, as long as you are still enrolled in school, you have not graduated yet, you would be eligible to apply to Emmy. The only requirement is that you make sure that you graduate within a year of acceptance to Emmy. So that is what's the most important for you. As I think the minimum GPA, not GPA, the minimum credit requirement is to at least have 90 credits. So as long as you have 90 credits, I'm pretty sure you fit into the realm of someone who would be accepted into the program.
okay. What is the Mcat score requirement / minimum score for entry into the program?
So MCAT score requirements, assuming that you're speaking of Emmy, is dependent on the College of Medicine. So those scores can change from year to year. So that's something that we would not be able to give you right now at this moment. But once you have been accepted into the program, you would be made aware of what score you needed to have in order to successfully complete the program.
Okay. Can you apply for Emmy if you take an extra year in your undergrad to complete the prerequisites that are needed? For example, graduating in spring 2021. I think this is similar to the previous question that we asked.
Correct. So if you are graduating in spring 2021, you are eligible to apply for Emmy.
Okay.
When will we hear back for our acceptance into Emmy? The acceptance portion of Emmy consists of an interview as well. So first you would have to hear if you were accepted for an interview. And interviews usually happen throughout the month of March, and then afterwards decisions are usually made in April.
Okay. Is it okay if I take the MCAT before starting the Emmy program?
If you have taken the MCAT before starting the Emmy program, it doesn't disqualify you from being in Emmy, but the point of the Emmy program is to make sure that you have the best possible chance of making it through the MCAT. So if you have already been studying for the MCAT and you plan on taking it before Emmy, that's great that you have that. But I would say hold off until after you have gotten the extra prep so that you can make sure that you have the grades required. Because any grades that you take before Emmy doesn't necessarily count for Emmy. So I would say hold off.
Can you still apply for the program if you're planning on taking a gap year?
So
I assume it's Emmy.
Yes, I assume it's Emmy as well. So students who are graduating in December of this year and spring of next year, of spring 2020, they would be taking a gap year, and Emmy would be part of their gap year. You do, however, have to enter into medical school by fall 2021. So you cannot go through the Emmy program in summer and then take another extra year before you get into medical school. That is not allowed. Can we still apply if we have above 90 credits and plan to take Biochemistry 1 and Physics 1 over spring 2020? Yes, you can still apply. I'm assuming this is for Emmy. You can still apply. You just, if on your transcripts when you have them sent, I know a lot of transcripts, if you've already started planning out your classes for the next semester, they will have them on there. So that's something that we would want to see, that you're planning on taking those courses by spring, so that when you do come into the Emmy program, you have taken those courses. So just make sure those show up on your transcript so that we know that it's not that you just don't have those courses, that you are just planning on taking them later. But then that also means that you probably won't be taking Physics 2 until after your first Emmy summer. That's something that we would consider in taking you for the program.
Okay. Okay, this is another question for Emmy. Currently applying as a junior / rising senior. Program is 2 summers over 2 years, or 2 separate sessions within the same summer. So no, it's two summers.
2 summers, yes. It's 2 summers over 2 years. So your first summer would be this coming summer, the summer of 2021, and your next summer 2020, excuse me, and then your next summer would be summer of 2021, which is also the year that you would be entering into medical school. So your second summer is right before you enter your first year of medical school.
Correct.
2 summers.
Okay.
I am considered a senior by my degree works, but I am in my 3rd year of college. Can I still apply to Emme? Yes. Yes, you can.
Can you apply for Emmy and be a psychology major?
You can apply for Emmy and be whatever major you would like, as long as you have those pre-med courses so that we can see your sciences. Then you can apply for Emmy. Remember that we do take science and math into consideration, the science math GPA. So if we don't see any science or math courses, we can't make any determination as to whether you'd be someone who would fit into the Emmy program. So just make sure you're taking all your pre-med kind of required courses when it comes to the Mcat. And if you're a psychology major, you're fine to apply to Emmy or any major.
Correct. What are the requirements for the Emmy program? I'm a sophomore right now and I'm interested in this program. What should be my steps?
So we definitely went through the requirements during the webinar, but I would say since you are a sophomore, Mr. Goldstone, you want to talk to him about EHC and what he should be doing there?
Sure. So I think it's good that you're a sophomore and you're getting a sense of what lies ahead. For you, I'd probably recommend the EHC program, just for you to sort of get your feet wet and get as much exposure as possible, and of course strengthening your academic background as much as is possible, so that you can be a great Emmy applicant.
Can Daca students apply to EHC?
So, no.
You have to be a citizen or a permanent resident. What was the Mcat score requirement for Emmy last year or years prior? I do not remember all of them off the top of my head. They have changed. I know they are somewhere total in the 500s.
If I am to apply for Emmy as a senior, would my application be considered for review? So,
Yes.
yes.
Does EHC cover occupational therapy?
EHC does cover occupational therapy as well as physical therapy and a variety of other kinds of non-medical health professions.
Can I still apply if I have less than 90 credits? Assuming that you're talking about Emmy, you probably would not be eligible to apply if you have less than 90 credits, because then technically you would not be a junior, I believe. So I'm going to say no, but if you are in junior status, at least currently, you should be able to apply. If you have less than 90 credits, you're usually not considered a junior.
Okay. Do you accept postbacks? And this was a question asked earlier. We do not accept post-baccalaureate students.
Can you apply for Emmy if you were a senior graduating fall 2019? I'm considered a super senior. So that means that you would be graduating this fall. Yes, you can apply for Emmy.
Is the entire admission holistically reviewed? For example, does it really hurt my application if I'm not financially disadvantaged? I do receive TAP, etc.
The admissions process is holistically reviewed. The requirements to be financially disadvantaged, it's financially disadvantaged or economically disadvantaged. Or educationally disadvantaged. If you do not fit one of those two criteria, you would not be accepted into the program. But once again, we would not be able to tell if you fit those requirements unless you applied.
Is physics a required course for the Emmy program?
Physics is a suggested Mcat course. So it's something that we would want to see that you had before we accepted you into the Emmy program, because it is on the Mcat, and physics is a required course for the medical school, so you need to have it in order to even be accepted into medical school. You need to have physics.
Okay. Does an upward GPA trend help our application for Emmy, though the GPA is under criteria for Emmy?
It is something that would be looked at, but it is, once again, on a case-by-case basis. We would have to exactly see the kind of trend that is going on within your transcript to determine whether or not you would be a fit for Emmy.
What does it mean to be educationally disadvantaged?
Well, educational disadvantage is if you are from a group of people who have historically been disadvantaged educationally compared to other groups of people. Now, that once again is something that we would have to see your application to determine if you are. I know one example of educational disadvantage is being a first-generation student.
Correct. Is there a priority for graduating seniors to get into the Emmy program as opposed to juniors?
No, there is no priority.
Okay. What is the application open date for Emmy? So all of our applications are currently being refitted and should be available on our website beginning in mid-November.
Just to confirm, start summer 2021 in medical school. So summer 2021, you will be in your second part of Emmy, which is Operation Success. And in the fall of 2021, you will have started your first year in medical school. If you cannot complete Emmy successfully, is it going to disadvantage you in any way while applying to the same school or any other medical school? No, you yourself not completing Emmy does not disadvantage you from any other school or from coming to Downstate if you decide to just apply on the open market after you have been through the Emmy program. The only thing I would say is that schools do look at your Mcat scores and they look at how many times you have taken the Mcat, so that's something that you want to consider as you are in the program. What's the scale to what a person can be financially disadvantaged? I think we kind of answered the questions on financial disadvantage and how that is determined. So definitely speak with your pre-med advisors. They'd be able to look at your case individually and be able to help to determine that for you, but we will not be able to determine that without your application.
For Emmy, can I have more than 2 letters of recommendation?
Yes, you can give more than 2 letters of recommendation. It's not required, but if you really did feel that you needed to give a 3rd letter of recommendation because it's super strong and you just know that we would want to read it and see what they have to say about you, yes, you can add another letter of recommendation, but there really is no need for more than 2, maybe 3 max. We don't need 4 or 5.
Do EHC alumni have a better chance of admittance to Emmy having met other requirements? No. You don't necessarily have a better chance of admittance just because you've been an EHC alumni, although it is important that we encourage EHC alumni to apply to Emmy or our other programs, but all applicants are judged by the merit of their applications.
And if you do meet all the requirements and you are an EHC person, obviously that's something that we would, look at and say this person has been through our programs. So EHC is definitely something that you probably do want to start off with, especially if you are a freshman or sophomore. But that does not guarantee you a spot in Emmy in any kind of way. But we do take notice of the fact that you have been through our programs. I think this next one's the same one. There you go. Can you apply to both Emmy and EHC at the same time, just in case I don't get into Emmy? Well, Emmy and EHC are very different programs, and you wouldn't want to be applying to one program just in case you don't get into another program. We would want those who are in the programs to be in those programs because they really want to be in those programs. And also, EHC is more set for underclassmen, where Emmy is more set for upperclassmen. So there may be a chance that you do not fit into the requirement for both programs. That being said, if you know you want to be a doctor already, and you know that's the path that you want to go on, Emmy is definitely the path for you.
Right.
And EHC would more be for you if you are figuring out if you want to be a doctor or what kind of doctor you might want to be, or if you want to be in any kind of health field and just don't know what's out there. That program would provide you with that guidance and show you how to make your steps towards your goal.
Okay.
We answered that one. So,
do you need medical experience to apply to Emmy?
no, you do not need medical experience to apply to Emmy. Those who do have medical experience, just as with any other medical school, they do ask about that and they do look at that as evidence of your commitment to the medical field.
Okay.
Is it possible to apply during senior year if you were rejected during your junior year? Yes, there are no restrictions on how many times you can apply for Emmy. If you do not make it one year, you can you can apply another year, and hopefully your application might be stronger and you'd make it that year. And the same goes for EHC.
Correct. Okay.
We have about 10 minutes, so we'll probably answer maybe about 5 or 6 more questions.
Okay. I am a transfer student and will have more than 120 credits when I graduate. Will I still be able to apply to Emmy, or is that considered a postback?
Emmy is not considered a postback. You would still be eligible to apply to Emmy, even with 120 credits, but you should definitely speak with your pre-med advisor and make sure that that is the best path for you. Do experiences like being a licensed EMT help towards entry into the Emmy program? Being a licensed EMT looks good towards any medical school because it shows that you do have some kind of passion towards being in the medical field. So it's something that will boost your application. Does it take you over the top? That just depends on your entire application.
Okay. Applying for Emmy, should letters of recommendation come from course professors or lab mentors with whom I am doing research? Which would strengthen my application?
I would say that the person who is going to give you the strongest letter of recommendation is the one that you should go for. I've had students get recommendation letters from professors that pretty much say they did good in my class. They got an A. My class was tough. They did well, which that is great to know. Is that necessarily a strong letter of recommendation? I wouldn't say that. But I have had letters of recommendations from professors that really talk about the student and their journey and how they were different from other students. Stronger letters of recommendations are what we would want for you because that really shows who you are before we're even able to speak to you and give you an interview. We'll at least have an idea of, you know what, this is a student that I really want to speak to. So part of that is you writing that in your own personal statements, and part of that is getting letters of recommendations from people who you know will speak highly of you.
As a graduate in the spring of 2020 and hopefully accepted into Emmy, what is the student advised to do after their first summer during fall and spring?
Okay, so if you are graduating in 2020 and you are in the Emmy program, hoping that you have made the Mcat goal, you won't have to be studying for the Mcats after your first summer. In the meantime, before medical school starts, that is the time for you to do a research experience, do something clinical, or even to just anything that would continue to show that you have, a desire and a passion in the field. As well, you should be planning out for medical school when that starts in spring 2021, because your summer, the next summer of Emmy is Operation Success, and you do not have enough time between Operation Success and your first year of medical school in order to get all your ducks in a row. So your financial aid, your living arrangements, are you living on campus, or you can find an apartment off of campus, or you need a car, do you need to pick up a car, do you need to do, there's a whole bunch of things that you have to think about and kind of plan out before you actually start medical school. So that those months after your first summer would be dedicated to all of those things.
Okay. Is the admission process holistically reviewed? For example, how important is it to be economically disadvantaged? Is it a huge factor? So the first answer is yes, the admission process is holistically reviewed. And as we discussed before, the eligibility requirements being what they are, economic or educational disadvantage is a criteria.
I I understand you don't admit postback students, but I am a transfer student retaking courses, not affiliated with a postback program. Is that okay? That is something that I would say go speak to your pre-med advisor about, because without seeing your entire application, I would not know how to answer that question. But I do speak to all of your pre-med advisors in all of your schools. So if they look at your application or they look at your specific situation and it's something that they cannot answer, they will reach out to me and we will have a conversation about it, and they will be able to let you know exactly what
How you should
do,
proceed,
how
yeah.
you should proceed, exactly. Okay, and I think we're going to do one more.
Okay. Would a non-academic letter of recommendation be suitable? For example, from a doctor you have previously shadowed. So I think this is similar to the other questions that we've answered before. You want the strongest recommendations possible. And certainly you do want an academic letter of recommendation. In the case of Emmy, where two are required, one can be academic, and I think the other one can come from experience as well.
Right, one of them has to be academic, one of them has to be from a science or math professor, and the other one can come from someone who would be able to speak on your behalf about what kind of student you are. But do keep in mind that academic letters of recommendation do tend to be more impactful in the decision-making
Absolutely.
process. So,
And for exploring health careers, just to note, the letter of recommendation that we are asking for is from a science or math professor.
right. So at this moment, if you had any other questions that we have not answered for you, please, please, please email us at diversityprograms.downstate. Diversity programs
At
downstate.edu. Email us there. Any questions that you have, someone will get back to you and answer any questions that you may have.
And please feel free to note the program that you are interested in asking about. So EHC in the subject line if you are interested in EHC, or Emmy if you are interested in the Emmy program.
Right. So the applications should hopefully be up soon. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And once again, if you have any questions, reach out to us and we'll be happy to answer them for you.